So what is the talking really for? What is all of this discussion? And you know, when I try to tell you guys about what's coming up, and you know, a lot of you may interpret it as prophecy, some of you interpret it as me just having great foresight or something. And even though I tell you that I know the heavens, somehow it does not equate in your reasoning about why all of this is happening. Is a better way of trying to put that. I was thinking about that a lot because as I've navigate these dark realms and all of these different experiences that I know are directly connected and tied into real life scenarios as you walk on this plane in your perceived existence. That's a lot to say, but that's what's happening right now. Okay? Where do demons live, folks? If demons are walking the surface, would it be more exciting for them to live inside of you and direct and steer your vehicles versus just floating around somewhere and taking up space and just observing, right? Part of that allure is the fact that they get to live through you folks, because without living through you, they have no life. These are important things. I was thinking a lot this week about how you perceive a lot of this stuff. Give me a sec. How you perceive a lot of this stuff, and how you will deal with it, because a lot of what I say to you is like preparation. I had to figure out, something in me wants to keep telling you information. You know, there are things that I'm doing behind the scenes. There are things that are taking place in this world actively, you know, and advancing, the mission of what I'm here to do and accomplish, which I will accomplish, folks. Doesn't matter what you believe, because you're watching it take place and you're in it to experience it. It's your choice to make, folks, of how you want to go along with this or figure it out or whatever. I'm not here for that, but I've realized that the preparation of what I tell you, that it's really preparing you. It's like preparation, because in these cataclysmic events, in these great situations, you will be horrified and shocked. Some of you may even drop dead at the shock of not realizing that this is what reality really is. You know, and I'm all about the chariots every day. No matter how many times I'm with the chariots, no matter how many times I do things involving the chariots, I am wild at their presence every day. I am wild at the presence of the war angels every day. I am wild at the presence of the great sun himself and the moon and the earth herself, right? The holder of the beautiful world that I live on, that I know is beautiful. And you guys don't, because you have polluted it, you know, in your hearts and minds. You have lived in such a way that you have helped filthy the environment, you know. But the shock and awe of these things would really frighten you. If I took you to a hellish realm, somehow you guys seem to sympathize with the demons because you are the demons in some regard, you know. But if I were to take you to those realms, you would experience the great horrors of a nightmare, of your greatest nightmares, you know. And I look at you people in basic society, I go get coffee every other day at a certain cafe. There's a little shopkeeper there, and that shopkeeper works really hard in this world to keep their inventory up. They're really into their sales and keeping their business afloat. And that business is connected to the greater world itself, the to and fro's and the commerce and all that shit. He needs products, and those products are being made, and everybody has a job. I keep telling y'all this, right? And it's serving a system that's draining and uh, make creating dynamics where some people are poor and other people greatly benefit off their backs, and all types of evils and things that are interworked into the fabric of day to day that you just don't get as your slavery continues. This guy's really into his shop and everything, and if you looked at him on paper, or if you gave him a grade in this world, remember this world is run by demons, he would get a perfect A, right? He's abiding by the standards of the world. He's not questioning. He's not seeking the heavens. None of that. He's just living in this day to day. And then one day he's standing before the throne of the great high Father of heaven. And he's shaking in his boots at the awesomeness of his power. And that he's at the total mercy of this great, great divine being who holds everything. And he's not going in that gate. And he will say, I did enough. I ran my shop good. You know, I got the best coffee beans out there. You know, all this is foolishness because the company that made the coffee beans were treating it with some chemicals or some shit. And it's all the same thing. I keep telling you, everything is polluted. The very phone and device that I talk to you guys on right now, it's been compromised because the parts come from certain situations, everything. So in every way you look at things, you can see there's a trail of blood or something, or some kind of destruction or something, you know, a depletion, something that's negative versus a positive, which is abundance. The new day will bring that abundance, folks. But in the hands-on situation where you touch the actual situation itself, you will be horrified. And I'm talking about no matter what that scenario is, whether it be a raft scenario that brings your end, or in a situation where you actually witness divine intervention, it's going to horrify you because you don't understand. And just like the shopkeeper, when you look in his eyes, his eyes are thinking invoices, coffee beans, products, bags. He's thinking that. That's his day to day. Just like I used a lottery ticket example one time to show y'all, it wasn't about necessarily about the lottery, but it was about how you were looking at the lottery, right? How you were living your day to day and just seeing in a certain type of way in this world. You're so grounded in this world that you don't even recognize the heavens. But when the sky cracks open and it's the end of this world, you're going to want to be a part of the heavens, and you're not worthy. Do you see why I keep saying that? It's not because I'm trying to convict you. You know, obviously, I am super blessed, and I realize that that is my greatest blessing, to know the heavens, to know the Most High on a level where I fear Him because He is actually real, and I know this. But to live in a world and not understand Him or reason Him in reality is a curse, and is in your heart. But if a demon is living inside of you and controlling your emotions, then you have no ability to reason that. You're already damned. That's why I say it. And in the days of Noah, everyone went, the whole entire world. So really, if I'm talking to a few people, they're the only people that's going to listen anyway. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to describe that. You know, you guys don't know what to make of the chariots. Even you people who believe the chariots are here to deliver you in salvation, right? Or to raise you up at a time of need. They absolutely are. But I'm telling you, just like I just told you, I'm with the chariots every day, right? And I am still all to this very day at their presence, right? And I know that many of you think you know what you would do, but you don't necessarily know what you would do. The ground opens up, a chariot comes in and hovers over you, right? You're going to be afraid. You're going to want to shit your pants, folks. I'm serious. In a real moment where you're witnessing this and you're seeing the great awesomeness of this chariot and up close, you're going to be afraid and you're just not going to be able to talk or anything. You're just going to be standing there. That's what I'm talking about. See, I'm in the know where I'm with the chariot. So when it's time to talk about who you should listen to the person who's with the chariots. Because even that person is all by the chariots themselves. It's a great blessing, but it's something, you know. A lot of you don't understand that in this world, there are the NPCs are actually just people living out the characters in this world. But if the devil controls the world of people, of the populace, then they're just serving his bidding. So you're just like a character in a movie navigating, and you'll get these people that'll present obstacles to you when you're chosen. You'll have people watching you all the time. Your neighbors will really care about your life. You're not bothering anybody or doing anything that would make you look suspicious or anything, but because you are of that light and they're of just the script, they can see that, you know, and they'll do everything they can to distract you or take away from something because that's part of the mission, folks. And it's such a bigger fight on so many levels that you just can't imagine. But if you're walking around and having no understanding of any of this, you're just living in this world. You don't want the world to end. And in your greater psyche, you're not even yourselves. And that's what I mean about, what this is really about. I hear people on their day to day, people playing and frolicking about. And it says that biblically that, people would do these things up until the very last moment, you know, where they encounter that supernatural that's going to take them out of here. And just like the demons, they reason, why is this happening? Why? We've lived our best lives. We worked our jobs. We paid our taxes. We paid our bills. We paid our electricity. We did all of this. Whatever you're saying in this world, right? Whether you have the money for it or not, you're saying that because that's part of the machine of this world. And in the deeper part of looking behind what that really is that that's something being taken from you, your energy, right? The demons are extracting it in every way because only you're suffering, you know. When I've gone back into different time periods, especially during the slavery periods, and I've experienced what it was like during the times and the emotional feelings. It felt like being trapped. It felt like being in a cage. It felt hopeless. It felt miserable. It was depressing. Imagine living your day to day in such a state in your heart and nobody else gives a fuck. Everybody around you is exploiting and extracting that energy from you, and they don't care if you until you drop dead, literally sucking your resource until you can no more, and then you drop dead, and then they just move on to the next thing. And who is doing that, folks? The demons. So the demons are living their best lives in this real reality inside of you, right? And in other places where you don't see them, they are roaming in these vortexes, cultivating evil, seeking opportunities to come into this part of the situation and take you over and have you doing things. But in the end times, the worst of you will go. And that's because it's decreed by the Most High Father God of heaven, folks. Who the heavens bow to, the great heavens. And that is why that's very important for y'all to understand why I talk to y'all, because I realize that in a moment of greatness, I show y'all my moments. Every day is like a fairy tale moment of greatness, right? And you don't like the fact that I'm embracing it and the fact that I'm confident with it, because if you knew the sun on the level I did, wouldn't you be confident with that, folks? And what am I supposed to do with that? I'm in a world where people are suppressing people using the energy that the sun is making. I know the sun personally. What am I supposed to do with that? Humble myself to the people that are trying to harvest this energy when I don't even need them in this situation? The ground herself that you stand on is my mom, loves me, and I show you her, I show you the moon, and y'all see this and know it's absolutely real. It's real somewhere because y'all are looking at it, right? But y'all don't want to accept it. And that's the demons in your conscious mind fighting against what's coming. And that's okay. You can be fair opposition because you're going to go just like all the rest of the opposition. But it's very important to make y'all understand this, You're hanging over a cliff, you're falling, the ground has opened up, there's a great earthquake, right? These great events I keep telling y'all about. And a chariot appears, right? And you want that chariot to save you, but you don't have the light in you. The chariot is not going to receive you, folks. And that's for the lying, narcissistic demons who are hiding in bodies as demons, thinking that nobody else can see them. And that is the problem, because most people don't see them. You know, in my day to day, and I can remember, you know, a lot of people been doing these, ask me about jobs and stuff lately, videos and stuff. And I can think back to my days on working on jobs and how there were crazy people always at these jobs that I immediately recognized. They were demons, immediately recognized it. And they immediately showed you some type of disdain or disapproval or something, and you hadn't done anything to them. As a matter of fact, you were a great person, but that was the problem, folks. They saw your light and they had to snuff it, you know. And I was talking about this stuff for years in a narcissistic form, but really it's about what those demons are doing, and they want to hold on to this. But a world of misery cannot exist forever, folks, and I need y'all to understand that. The problem is that most of y'all will not see what a heavenly world is and the beauty of a heavenly world. The beauty of existing in such a reality is so magnificent that you would not want anything else or seek anything else. But you have to have the Most High God in your heart. And in this world has been tainted in such a way that your way of the world is not in the same ways of the Most High God. And you may not have all the answers to that, but you understand on certain levels that there are certain things about this that you know in right and wrong. You know not to steal from people. You know not to harm people. The fundamental things that the demons take you over and have you doing the worst of: killing, shooting, destroying, murdering, war, death. And you can't get enough of it because the demons are thirst craving for these things and living through you folks. And that's why you gotta go. You know, a lot of y'all go to church, like I said, and sit up in the church every day and do a ceremonial connection to the church. It's just a fellowship. It ain't really a church. The angels come through the roof one day, all of y'all ass get up and stampede each other trying to get out through the back door somewhere. Why y'all running from the heavens? If the heavens show up in your church and come raise the ceiling up and you see angels in the heavens, why are you running? Right? And those are the moments that I'm talking about, those supernatural moments that you think you're prepared for, but really in reality, you're not. Because even me, folks, right? I have experienced the heavens many times, and I am still awed by every single day. There is no day that goes by that I am not floored by the greatness that the Most High has shown me and given me. And that is my great blessing that I never want to lose. But at the same time, it's so magnificent. So I know that one who thinks they know will not know in that time. The greatest of prophets online telling you what's going to happen with the chariots will shit their pants when the actual chariot pulls up on them and up close in real time. They won't know what to say. They won't have that extra thing to talk. They don't speak Heavenese. Remember I used to say that? They don't speak Heavenese. Right? How do you speak it if you don't know the language, folks? That's why I talk to y'all in these last days, to reach that last little bit. It's not to reach the world. The world is already damn, y'all. And y'all know that. You know? And a lot of people hear what I say and they take it as some type of way with their egos about what I'm saying about who I am or what I show you. If I tell you I know the sun is so great that y'all cannot believe such a thing because you see the sun in its greatest capacity to what you believe. It still is super great. It's your whole existence. But I know that great being. I love that great being. And I show you what he looks like. I show you who he is and stuff. I'm with him every single day. And somehow, because of the greatness of him, you look at me and think that I'm trying to to elevate myself or magnify myself, but I have to on some level to declare to you and assert myself about what this is about and how I'm going to go about doing certain things, right? The whole entire world is my family, folks. The world, the earth herself is my family. And there are people in this world, I should say, rather, that will see the new day, and they are my family. Next video.